What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Divided Nations. So James O'Keefe sharing those CNN tapes. He's going to actually be sharing, from what he said, one per night through the month of December. He said he's been recording calls from CEO Jeff Zucker of the CNN broadcasting, recording their 9 a.m. conference calls and other calls. And yeah, oh man, get her done. He he caught them saying some pretty incriminating things. One of the things that he was saying, Jeff Zucker was saying, was he didn't want to give a certain level of attention to President Trump because he didn't want to normalize his behavior to the point where it would look like CNN's media would be showing a level of acceptance or embracing it, but also said that concerning the narrative of 9/11 and terrorists, he was talking about specifically with one of the other individuals on that conference call saying, well, we need, I can't remember her name. She was saying that, well, we need to take into consideration the transition, right? So in other words, they're thinking about what their next move is, right, of how they're going to transition from all the Russian collusion, fraud allegations. All that was a coup. I mean, it was just a massive hoax to just discredit Trump, and all the media did was just smash him, slander him for the last few years. Now, I'm an independent. Really, I'm more of a libertarian constitutionalist. I'm more conservative, but I don't really want to choose a side. I've been half my life I was, Democrat. Half my life I was Republican. Growing up, I thought as a blue-collar kid, I thought, oh, that's what Democrats support. They support teachers, civil rights. They support, lower taxes for the working man. I thought, yeah, all right, that's what the Democrats are about. And then as I got older, I got wiser and realized better. Republicans still look out for their peeps, but at the same time, they're a little bit more subtle about things, a little bit more sneaky. Not as obvious sometimes. I think that either way, both parties do have their faults. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but now I just would choose to remain an independent. But when it comes down to it, as far as this whole situation, as far as CNN specifically and the CEO, Jeff Zucker, being, outed, there's other things that he was talking about, beyond the transitioning to that next level of, okay, well, what do we do now? Where we need to take into consideration, learning from the past and how to transition, that. And in other words, how 9/11 transitioned into the media constantly badgering us with propaganda of terrorism over and over and over again, and brainwashing us over and over again. The tactics that they're using right now and the strategies, this kind of brainwashing is the same type of propaganda that the media used back 20 years ago when 9/11 happened. I mean, it's basically the same thing. They're just using a different mask, a different cover, and now it's, instead of terrorism, it's a pandemic. I'm sure the Biden administration will probably pan back to that. I'm sure they'll probably get us into something, and I'm sure the narrative of the news media will probably start to be talking about that again and bring it up. Obviously, they haven't been mentioning it for hardly years. That's another situation. It seems like they can block churches and people going to service, but yet the liquor stores are open. At the same time, they're closing gyms. It's like, no, Walmart can have hundreds of people in their location shopping, but at the same time, it's not okay to go to certain parks or certain public areas, or for people to be in a restaurant sitting too close to each other, right? So they choose what is essential. And you see right now, how the media, going back to what CNN has been doing, they're picking and choosing what they want to talk about. They're using everything to discredit the president and the narratives, and they're talking about, strategic kind of aspects of how to transition to the next kind of talking points after this chapter, so to speak, is over with Trump. And so you can see that this propaganda train has been going on, people, for what, like 20 years? We can go back further than that. I mean, even when Clinton was in, the whole Monica Lewinsky thing was just constant, just nonsense. But anyway, but really since 9/11, you can see that propaganda train has not stopped. It doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. And with the masks and the further lockdowns, they're going to capitalize on this crisis. Just like Hillary and Obama said, never let a crisis go to waste. And they're definitely not wasting this opportunity.